Hello folks, this is Ham the Guinness Gamer bringing you episode 7 of my Civilization 6 Complete Beginner's Guide. Getting straight into it, we are about to produce our first settler, aren't we? And we're about to get attacked by some barbs as well. Where are we? Okay, sailing. Okay, first of all, we have just unlocked the research sailing. Now, the reason for me learning that was researching that was so that builders to embark. Yes, so I want to get my scout here to be able to, because of the way this mountain range is, it's blocking me in. It's blocking me in quite extensively between Zanzibar the whole way around here, right the way around. So, and even looking there, who knows whether I'm even blocked off here as well. So what I want to do is I want to be able to run my scout out into the ocean here to actually explore, but to be able to do that, to be able to put all your units onto water tiles, ocean tiles, you need the technology shipbuilding. Now, I'm going to research that. I don't have the Eureka for it yet, but I have a good reason for going for it, as I say. And there, if you see, look at the wee star there, it says allows all land units to embark. That's why I'm going for that. To boost own 2 galleys, might see if I can produce. No, I'll not be able to. I'm not going to be able to produce that because to be able to produce galleys, you need a city on the coast, and I don't have a city on the coast yet. So I'm just going to have to bite that 14 turns without getting the Eureka for it. Now, that being said, this guy is just going to go to sleep for a while or fortify for a while until I can actually explore with him. We have produced our first settler. Technically, I could possibly settle along the coast somewhere, but I wouldn't have the production in a brand new city to produce those 2 galleys before we've completed this shipbuilding research. So instead of doing that, I am going to place this settler, send this settler somewhere that I think a good city would go. Yes, that's right, the iron over here. So I'm looking iron ASAP. If I look here, some iron, some horses, some stone. Might be a decent production city. Really depends what else is around here and whether I go for here. But as it is, I'm probably ultimately I'll settle a city there, but because that's so cut off from everywhere else, it's unlikely anyone else is going to settle in there, or anyone else will even be able to, because they would have to be able to get through my city to get there, or through Zanzibar. So I am going to start sending my first settler down to this area. I think I'll settle here somewhere. As I say, I want that at least one of those irons, but whether I settle maybe somewhere here or somewhere over here, we'll see. I need to explore more, but ultimately I definitely want to get this iron. So I'm going to start sending my settler out. Now, as I said before, settlers are civilian troops or civilian units, so they can get attacked and taken by other military units. So I'm going to send my warrior with them. That's why I left my warrior beside this city. What you can do once you knock these on top of each other is you can actually link the units, create escort formation with warrior. So that sort of puts them together as one unit. That the settler will not walk anywhere without the warrior coming with him. So he's just like a bodyguard for him. But ultimately I'm going to send the 2 of them. I have to get around this mountain range, so at the very least I have to kind of come around here. So they're going to walk that way over the next few turns. This warrior is just taking a hit. The enemy warrior's weakened himself enough where I can probably kill him in one hit here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And beat the absolute crap out of them there. That's always good. Didn't lose too much. Alright, that's why he was weak then, because the Kumasi archer had peppered him as well, probably. Or was about to, anyway. Right, so choose production in my main city. I have just produced that settler. Many options. And gardens. Ooh, big growth for that. That's quite good, if I could get that. But another settler, maybe. Did I change my civics around? That's no, the government. Alright. Yeah, 50% production towards settlers. It's very tempting. I'd like a trader. I'd like another settler, but even like to go for some of these more world wonders. Also pays. Oh, for settlers, I'm gonna go for the government plaza. I think. I think that will improve. No, we'll leave it. You know what? You see, there's so many options for what I could do. The watermill give me an extra production, extra food. So I'm going to go for that actually because the extra production will help a lot. Of 20 production at the minute, another one will be good for producing more settlers and ultimately producing all these other things. So I'll go for the watermill first. 4 turns, really not too bad for building building like that, and obviously it'll improve my growth as well. And right, next turn then, slide on. Kumasi running away from that bar because he's dead. Kumasi? Yeah, I pronounced it right. Gonna heal this guy to get this guy to explore a little bit more this way and then kind of wrap around this way. Mexico, a city here would be between those two city-states, which isn't the worst thing, but ultimately I may end up at war with one or other or all of them. I will explore down here now. See, this is maize, so that'll give me extra food if I settle near it. Also, I mentioned in episode 1, I think it was, about settling beside a river. Settling beside a river gives you fresh water, which means that a mechanic that's in the game called housing, which I know I haven't discussed yet, but will do in greater detail. But it will, if you settle beside a river, it gives you fresh water, and ultimately the housing mechanic doesn't become an issue until your city is grown significantly more. Otherwise, you have to deal with the housing issue like you have to deal with the amenities issue, and you can do that in several ways. But as I say, once we unlock certain technologies, it'll be easier to discuss more in depth about housing then. For now, this guy's just been blocked off. You're a jerk, Mexico. No, he hasn't. Okay, no problem. All I'm literally looking to do with this slinger, it would be more ideal if I had a scout to do this, but I'm just looking to explore this area so that when this settler comes down here, I know exactly what tile I'm going for to build a city on. For now, we can produce something else. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Any more growth? Encampment. Alright, I'm just going to go for another settler. For now, the quicker we get our second, third, fourth, even fifth cities up and going, then the more advantageous it is to us in the long run. Because you've seen there in the first 68 turns, you know how long I've spent just getting my capital up and going, and get it to a level where it's producing well and it's growing well, and 7 population. So the earlier you can get the other cities up and going, then the better off you are. Alright, this looks like... What are we going to discover here? Wheat and plenty of mountains. That is one heck of a mountain range this game has spawned me in beside. Oh, okay, Spain, where are you coming? Let's go across here. Oh,
then
what's
weave
this?
a web of the mystic
Natural wonder.
From the depths of the sky and the ends of the earth, come, swift spirits of might and
so
of
these are, I'm just reading that, sorry, so natural wonders are, as well, they're exactly what they sound like. They're particular tiles on the map that have naturally occurring wonders on them, but often what they give you is an extra amount of something, anything, they can give you anything, but this one in particular gives us 3 culture. Combustion, I don't actually know what that is, but it looks like that's probably going to have those 3 tiles are all going to be. So if we have a city built near this, that will be one serious culture city, because each of those tiles, it does look like, I'm not 100% certain, but it looks like where that Combustion writing is, that there's going to be 3 tiles, as I say, so they're all going to be 3 tiles with 1 production and 3 culture. Now, culture generally doesn't come too much from tiles. There's not too many examples. It's natural wonders, and for the most part that's it. It doesn't really occur naturally in any of these normal tiles. Like if you look about the map, the only purple you'll actually see is that. But it is a very useful mechanic. This is Spain. Yes, a very useful mechanic is the natural wonders then, because as if I put a city here, I'll be able to work those 3 tiles and then get lots of culture. And if you look at my culture at the minute, it's +6 per turn. So if I was placing a city and all of a sudden getting 3 and 3 and 3, which is 9, that's a massive increase to my culture. That being said, I haven't really been pushing towards culture so far, but when you discover something like this, it always is could be a reason to pivot your game plan. Particularly my guy, at the very start, I just randomly chose this, or let the game randomly choose this guy, but he is a bit culture based. But for now, that's not too relevant for where this video is supposed to be going. We have our second settler already, so I may settle this guy on the coast because we don't yet have furs, which is a luxury resource. So I've got a feeling my capital is going to be running into an amenity problem soon. Once we grow another bit, we'll probably be short on amenities again. We'll have to get that coffee. There's actually a bit of culture from that coffee, ironically. Spices, we have spices, but another one do no harm. Well, first of all, we're gonna have to decide where to put this guy, this settler. Now, the red areas dictate where you can't settle, and that's because it's too close to other cities. So if you count out the tiles, it's always 3 tiles from other cities because they can technically grow that far and work all those tiles. So we can't place our city there. We can place it, the likes of here in this green tile, but it is bordering right on the area where they're going to grow to. So if I place there, I'm going to be trying to grow towards these tiles and take these tiles, but so is he, so is Mexico City, and that's ultimately how you end up causing wars with people, because your borders are right on their borders and it causes issues. Let's just say that. And that ties into the loyalty system that I haven't spoken in any great depth about before, because as I say, I'll get into that when the situation arises, and it probably will be because of this city, because I'm going to go place this somewhere, and no matter where I place it, I want that iron, so I'm gonna end up with a border with these cities ultimately, but it could be a good number of turns away. For now, the game is recommending that I place here. And that'll be for the fresh water, which isn't a bad place. That fresh water, just trying to think about this here, 1, 2, so I will get that iron tile. I could technically get that iron tile, although Akkad will probably get it first. I will get that stone tile, so I'm just counting out 3 tiles if I'm going from here. And it probably is the best place because you get the fresh water, bit of marsh as well, which if I remember rightly, Edamanenki, is this just for this city or is this for all? Edamanenki, +2 science, +1 production to all marsh tiles in your empire, which means, right, that's marsh but not floodplains. So is these are just floodplains, or are these marsh? I think they might actually be marsh. No, floodplains. Marsh. Okay, so that one will get the bonus and nothing else, but again, that is a good reason to actually build here as well, so I'll get the extra bonuses there. 1, 2, I'll also get that weight. 1, 2, 3, I'll also get that weight, which is good, and I'll get one of these, which again ain't too bad, because technically if I want to get the extra culture from these other ones, I can build a city this side and I can get those two. So I am going to go with their recommended. Now, for a beginner's sake, generally just go with the recommended, but sometimes it's not the best choice, but that'll only come with experience and play time, and you'll realize when you can pick a better place. Now, this settler, where's he going? I ultimately will put one in here, but I'm in no rush to do it. Spain, I wonder. See, that's Spain there. They clearly have access to a good amount of iron. If that mountain range comes down here, which I can't see at the minute, kind of looks like it does though, I really want to block them off, to be honest. I'm just going to walk on down here and see how much of them I can explore. But I'm going to send these 2 guys. So we've got to build up here somewhere if I can. Now these minus these figures, these numbers are again to do with the loyalty mechanic. Ultimately what that is if you're bordered too close to other cities. So it doesn't, you see here, there's no numbers here, so it doesn't apply to city states, it just applies to other civs. If you place that city there, there's a chance that they'll be able to flip your loyalty. And what that means is if I look at Munich here, and loyalty and governors, I have 100 loyalty of 100 possible. That's because that's my capital, and also because I have no pressure on me from any other cities. So you start with 100 out of 100. If I place my city in one of these tiles, so this -20, automatically my city will be starting with -20 loyalty. The lower loyalty you have, the more likely your city will start to revolt, and ultimately they'll try and revolt to be part of, in this case, the Spanish Empire, whoever's putting the pressure on you. Now, there are ways to mitigate that. The likes of the governor will increase your loyalty. I'll get into this in more detail down the road, but if you look, the amount of loyalty per turn towards your civilization that this government provides for the city, so +8, so that would mitigate some of that -20 from up here. Ultimately, I'm not going to settle not this early in one of those, because I think I wouldn't have the control elements to actually flip it, or stop it being flipped, should I say. But I would like to have a city up here to maybe push a border that way to stop them coming around and attacking me if they want to. Now the best place for this, rice, amber. See, none of these tiles up here are great. Coffee, spices, horses, spices. And if I place there, I'll have no water. See, I kind of need that river, but they're -20. -7 there isn't the worst. I could deal with a -7, but it's really not the best place for a city. Okay. My thinking for blocking them off is good militarily, but the city, if I place it in any one of these tiles, the city would end up being pretty shit. If I place it in any of these tiles, which are a bit better resource-wise and such, I will probably lose the city. So I need to ultimately, if he doesn't come around that corner too much, I maybe will place a city there, but it'll have to be in a few turns when I'm able to increase that city's loyalty pretty quickly. So for now, where am I going to go? I would like a coastal city. It's always good to have a coastal city because it's the only place you can actually build ships and create yourself a bit of a naval military. So, which, depending on how this map is, this is a complete random map, so I don't know. Depending on how it is, naval can be pretty important. By the looks of things, I see a decent amount of water from what I've explored, so it's probably going to be fairly relevant. But we'll only discover with exploration. But for now, it never does any harm to have a naval city, particularly fairly early on. So I would certainly like those furs, because Munich ain't going to get those furs, so I would like them. I'd also like that amber, so that means probably settling here. And that also will get me the spices, which is good. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It'll also get me that rice, which is perfect, so I'm going to go there. Now, this isn't recommending here. As I said when I was picking the last one, sometimes they're recommended, ain't great. It's recommending there, but there's no there's no running water there. It's not really. It's also far too close to my capital. Ultimately, my capital is going to go out and it's going to have that amber resource and these couple around it. If I was right there, those two cities are way too close to each other if I was to place that there. Whereas if I go a wee bit further north, it just gives both of your cities a bit more room to grow. Now that second settler's out, I'm going to build a government plaza. The reason for this is, if you look at the last line, it says awards +1 governor title. As just discussed with the loyalty, if I'm planning on putting a city up here, I need to be able to offset Spain's loyalty somehow, and that government plaza will help with that, and this government title will help with that. So it could well be that I build this government plaza and then I might build the next settler. For now, the government plaza doesn't have bonuses from tiles like the campus did earlier, but where you place it is still relevant. Should I place it here? See, provides +8 loyalty per turn to the city. Could technically place it in the new city if I did build a city up here, but I think it would take too long to build. What'll I do? Maybe rush it. You know what, I'm gonna do that. That'll show a nice mechanic. I'm gonna build another settler. and no, I'm going to build a builder. This will all become clear in time, but I'll only be able to explain it once I get there. But I'm going to send this guy up here, and I'm going to sit in one of these -20 tiles. And at the very least, if it goes wrong, it'll show you how the loyalty mechanic works and how cities can be flipped. So up here you go. You're going to settle stone, coffee, not bad, stone, cattle. I need a bit of growth, so I definitely need that cattle. If I just place there, maybe. I'll get the stone, I'll get the coffee, I'll get that stone. Maize. Yeah, there's not bad. So then I'm going for there because I'll get that maize, I'll get that wheat, I'll get that cattle, I'll get the coffee, I'll get the stone, I'll get that stone. And I am also on the city, or on the coast. So that solves that problem too. Okay, well it's going to take him a few turns to get there. For now, is this slinger going to attack me? One thing you'll notice early on, if you discover another civ, you can't actually walk into their territory. To be able to do that, you need to sign an open border treaty with them, which I'm not going to do with that because it makes him think that we're going to be friends. And as previously stated, we're not. We're not. He is a good bit stronger than me though. If you look up here in the top right, it's only showing 2 civs. That one's me there, Ludwig and Philip. All the rest of the civs will ultimately show here once I actually unlock them. But it gives you a good indicator of where you're sitting compared to them. So he's got a higher score than me. He's got a higher military than me, but he is slower in science, much faster in culture. I have a bit more money, and he's going decently into faith because that's quite high early on. Whereas I'm not going anywhere near faith. And then diplomatic favour as well, which we will discuss further down the line. And he also doesn't like me. He's unfriendly towards me, probably because he heard me call him a jerk before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to settle this city. I think that is a barbarian encampment, so I'm just going to push my slinger towards that. Oops. And this guy, yeah, great. Stupid slinger. You get out of the way. Last thing I'm going to do before this video ends, then I'm going to settle the city here as previously discussed. And this will find my second city. Now immediately it's starting again like the capital before, 1 population. You need to choose the production, but one thing is very noticeable immediately is the insufficient amenities, and that's due to what I discussed before. We need 1 just because of the 1 population, but we have 0, and as discussed before, we didn't have that problem in the capital because the palace that only starts in the capital gives you +2 amenities to start off with. If you look there, to +2 amenities from entertainment. So what we need to do is we need to get amenities to this city. Now, what should happen is my capital should share its amenities, which will help a lot. But for now, what am I going to do? I'm going to build a water mill to try and get the growth going in this city. And we'll go next turn and hopefully the amenities get shared. If not, it could well be that I need to put a road. No, there we go, they have got shared. So we now have access to the 2 luxury resources that our capital's working. And if you'll mouse over luxury resources, it'll tell you, but most of them you can only share with 4 cities. So that'll happen for this next one we settle and the other one that might go there. But then after that, we need to find a new, for our 5th city, we'll need to find a new source of amenities for them because of the limit on these luxury resources. For now, I am going to leave this video here and settle that next city. Going to push this guy on up, but we will get in depth in the next video in the loyalty mechanic and placing that city there. So for now, thank you very much for watching. If you've liked what you've seen, could you like and subscribe the video, and if you have any comments to make about games you'd like me to cover or things you'd like to see me cover in Civ, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you and enjoy your day wherever you are. Goodbye.